Good morning, my students. How have you been? I wish you are good. Today, we will continue the lesson of chemical compounds. By the end of this lesson, all students should be able to define all types of compounds, write examples of the types of compounds, and differentiate between the types of compounds. And we have some keywords. Please repeat after me. Acids, bases, alkalis, oxides. And now make a pause for the video and scan the QR code to watch the video and back to me. And now we remember the difference between the element molecule and the compound molecule. This is an element molecule, it's H. And this is oxygen, this is an element. This is a compound, water compound molecule. Why? Because it consists of elements, three atoms for two elements, an oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms. And now we'll study the types of compounds. We have four types: acids, bases, salts, oxides. In this session, we'll study the difference between acids, bases, salts, oxides. First, we'll talk about acids. What are acids? They are substances which dissociate in water, producing positive hydrogen atom. So when we saw positive hydrogen atom, this is acid, okay? And now we'll study the properties of acids. They have sour taste, like lemon. When you test the lemon, this is a sour taste, okay? They change the color of blue litmus paper to the red color. For example, we have sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Here we have positive hydrogen ions. So this is acid. And here nitric acid. Why? Because here we have H, positive ion. So this is acid. If you see hydrogen atom or hydrogen ion and the first of the compound, this is acid. We have exception, the water, H2O. This is not acid, although it starts with the H letter, hydrogen atom. And now we will talk about bases. What are bases? They are substances which dissociate in water, producing negative hydroxide ion, OH negative. So the difference between acids and bases end with OH negative ions, and acids starts with H positive ion. And now we will study the properties of bases. They have bitter taste, like pineapple. The taste of pineapple change the color of litmus paper from red to blue, as we can see. This is the opposite of acids. Acids change it from blue to red. Okay. Chemical formula of alkalis ends with OH negative. Okay. So we have examples: sodium hydroxide. Here we have OH in the end of the compound, so it's a base. And here we have OH in the end of the compound, calcium hydroxide, so it's a base. Okay. And now we'll talk about the third compound, or the third types of compounds, oxides. We have two types of oxides: metals oxides and non-metals oxides. We know the difference between metals and non-metals, and generally oxides, compounds resulting from combination between oxygen and element, metal or non-metal, this element metal or non-metal. So generally oxides are combination between the element with oxygen. For metal oxides, resulting from combination between metal element with oxygen. Okay. Non-metal, resulting from the combination between non-metal and oxygen. Okay. So we have examples for metal oxides: Na, this is a metal, Na2O. Why? Here we have oxygen divalent and sodium monovalent. When we change the valency, it will be Na2O. Can you remember? Okay, and we have calcium oxide, CaO. We have divalent oxygen, divalent calcium. Okay, so it will be CaO. Okay, this is a metal. And aluminum oxide. Aluminum is a metal, and oxygen here we have, this is divalent and this is trivalent. When you change the valency, it will be Na2O3. Okay, this is metal oxide. And in the metal oxides, we have examples. Here we have carbon, this is non-metal, and CO2. This is the valency of carbon, tetravalent, and oxygen divalent. When you change the valency and get the simplest ratio, it will be CO2. And here in the sulfur, this is non-metal. Okay, and sulfur, this is hexavalent, and this is oxygen divalent. When you change it to the simplest ratio, it will be SO3. This is sulfur oxide, non-metal oxide. Now you'll talk about salts. What are salts? They are compounds resulting from combination of positive ion or positive ionic group. Okay, this is positive, remember, and negative ionic group or negative non-metal except oxygen. Okay, so positive and negative, this is salts. Okay, this is ionic bond, if you can remember, between the electron attraction between positive and negative ions. Okay, salts are produced from the combination of negative and positive. Negative, non-metallic ion or atomic group. Okay, or positive, metallic ion or atomic group. So it's positive with negative. Except oxygen. We have exception oxygen. It may be a positive ion plus negative ion, like sodium chloride, Na, this is a positive ion, and Cl, this is a negative ion. Lead, bromide, here we have, this is a positive and this is negative. It may be a positive ion plus a negative group, positive and negative. Okay, like sodium nitrate, this is an negative ionic group, and we have magnesium carbonate, this is positive and this is carbonate, negative atomic group. It will be a positive ionic group with negative ion. This is ammonium. Ammonium is a positive ionic group, atomic group, and we have chlorine is a negative ion. Here we have ammonium. Ammonium is a positive atomic group, and bromine as a negative ion. And here we have a positive atomic group plus negative atomic group, like ammonium carbonate. This is positive atomic group and this is negative atomic group. And now we will talk about the properties of salts exist in Earth's crust or dissolved in water. They are different in taste, color, smell, and solubility in water. Some mineral salts are dissolved or soluble in water, like sodium chloride, calcium nitrate, potassium sulfate, and magnesium carbonate. And some salts aren't dissolved or insoluble in water, as silver chloride and lead iodide and lead sulfate. We observe here that sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium are soluble, and here we have the most of silver salts, and PP salts aren't dissolved or insoluble in water. And here we have a note: all carbonate salts doesn't dissolve in water except sodium carbonate, potassium carbonate, and ammonium carbonate. And now identify the type of the following compounds. KOH, it ends with OH. This is, yes, base. Okay, NaCl. It doesn't start with H or ends with OH. It's a positive ion plus negative ion. This is, yes, excellent, a salt. Okay, MgO. It's a combination between Mg, this is a metallic element, and oxygen. This is, yes, oxide. H2SO4. H2, it starts with H2. So this is, yes, acid. And we have CO2. CO2, it ends with oxygen. It's a combination between non-metallic element and oxygen. So this is, yes, oxide. And now give reason for acids turns the color of litmus paper from blue to red. Why? Due to the presence of positive hydrogen ion. Okay, like when we are talking about H2SO4, it consists of two positive ions, two hydrogen positive ions. It turns the litmus paper from blue to red. Okay, but basis turns the color of litmus paper from red to blue. Why? Yes, excellent. Due to the presence of the negative hydroxide ions like NaOH. Here we have OH. This is OH ion, negative ion. It turns the litmus paper from red to blue color. And now this is the time for evaluation. Choose the correct answer. All of the following are water-soluble salts except sodium sulfate or silver chloride, sodium chloride, or potassium sulfate. If you remember, I said to use sodium and potassium are soluble, and silver, yes, this is insoluble, so the answer silver chloride. Okay. Sulfuric acid characterized by all of the following except its a chemical formula is H2SO4. It has a bitter taste. It's changed the color of litmus paper into red. It's a mineral acid. Yeah, it has a bitter taste. It has a sour taste. Actually, it has a sour taste. It hasn't a bitter taste like lemon. Basis has a bitter taste. In this session, we studied the types of compounds: acids, bases, salts, oxides. We can differentiate between them. Acids starts with positive hydrogen atom like HCl. Any compound starts with H is an acid except H2O. This is an exception. Okay? It changes or turns the color of litmus paper from blue to red. And bases, it changes the color of litmus paper from red to blue because of the presence of OH, negative hydroxide ions. So it ends with the negative hydroxide ions like NaOH. And salts, this is a combination between positive ion and negative ion or positive ion with negative atomic group like nitrate, or positive ionic group with negative ion, or positive ionic group with negative atomic group. And we have oxides. Oxides, this is a combination between a metallic or non-metallic element with oxygen for metallic like MgO. This is a metal and this is a combination with the oxygen, so it's a metallic oxide. And we have non-metallic oxide like CO2. This is non-metal, so it's a combination between non-metal and oxygen, so it's a non-metallic oxide. Okay, and now we'll talk about the next lesson keywords. Please repeat after me: equation, reaction, reactants, products. And now we have to-do list. Watch the session another time, read the materials of the lesson, and solve the homework sheet. Please study hard. See you next session. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.